Go ahead and start pouring your paint. Blow up your balloon if you have one. All right, it's 6:36. We can start pouring. So I do. Welcome, guys. I'm Ronita. I am a Purposeful Point, and I teach paint parties. I teach painting online and in person. And I'm so glad you guys stopped by. Paint this. The floral arch is what I call it. Should have called it a balloon arch because we're going to be using the balloon paint. So I am normally painting on a MDF board, but I'm going to try this on paper. This is what we call acrylic paper. It's not made out of acrylic, but it just holds acrylic paint better. And I mean, you can see it does curve just a little bit, but it's still not bad. It still holds it very well. I love it. So, and this is 11 by 14. We're painting on 11 by 14. So that'll give you an idea of the size. And you're welcome to use whatever it is that works best for you. I'm trying to turn it, make sure we are facing. I had to bring that back up. I had pulled it down some. My easel. Oh, there's Suzanne. Oh, she's already in, but maybe another device. So there's not much going on at the bottom, but a lot of people, if they can't see it, feel like they're missing something. So I'm just trying to bring it up a little bit. All right, so I'm going to start with my largest brush, guys, which is usually, if you have one, you find one in the store, it's usually a 1 inch or a 3/4 inch brush. I grab my largest brush to work with my background. And I don't blend. Like you can see that I have the gray. There's Mary Jennings. I have the black and white, like I said, my background. And I actually do the blending, not so much on my tray, but on the on my paper. So it just gives it different dimensions. As you can see, it's all different shades like that. That's what I like. So that's what I'm going to start. I'm going to start with, I like to wet my brush first so it get it, dampen it. And then I'll touch it to my paper towel. I don't dry it off. I just touch it to make sure I get any excess water so that it won't run down. Hey, Mary. There's Eva. So I'm going to start. I'm dipping my brush in my white. And at the top, I'm just going to start with my white. There's no method on how I add that white, just as long as I can get it on the canvas. Okay. And the thing about with the paper, the paper kind of absorbs the paint a little bit. So that makes it a little more challenging. But on the canvas, it spreads a lot better. So I'm covering it with white. It's not completely covered in white, but I want to dip my brush in a little bit of black. I'm just going to dip a corner of my brush in the black. Guys, if you have any questions, feel free to unmute to ask the questions. But I put a little bit of black in there. And I already have white in my brush and on my background. So that's just going to blend nicely. So don't worry about making this the background solid, guys. As I always say, we are not painting a wall. When you're painting a wall, people tend to want it to cover it completely. And it's okay if it's not even. The paint is not even. So keep that in mind. And I do, because I'm using paper and not the canvas, I do dip my brush in water often, because a lot of times for sure, the wetter the paint, it helps the wetter your brush, it helps better with the moving your paint around. Okay.
Kate, are you going about 1/3 of the way down?
I'm going to go about 1/3 of the way down. Yes. And I do have a line kind of designating how far I'm going to go down, but it doesn't have to be a perfect line. Don't worry about making it a straight, even line. Your brush strokes, don't worry about which way they go. If you're all going in the same direction, we just want to get the area covered. Okay. Our goal is just to get the area covered. Hey, Eva. You can put as little or as a lot. Well, depending on what you want as far as your background. I want mine really light because I want to my orange. I'm not my orange, but my pink flowers, my buds to pop. So I want to make sure that I want to get it lighter. Stay light. I only added a little bit of black in there. And when you're finished with the top, you can start working on the bottom. In the bottom, I'm going to add a little more black than I did with the top. We can do the same concept with adding our white in there first and coming back on top with the black. Put a little black in the corner, on the corner of my brush. And then as you can see, you come on top of that white, it just kind of lightens it up. And I just want to go a couple shades lighter. I mean, darker than my top, than the top of my canvas or my. And again, it doesn't matter the line between the two. They don't have to be perfectly, it doesn't have to be like a perfect line or anything like that. And I want to make sure, like I said, I want it to be a little bit, a couple shades darker. And it doesn't have to be solid either. As you can see, my paint, it just kind of varies. This is the part where you can kind of the swiping, you know, that's like therapy. So this is your therapy time to swipe, swipe, swipe. Because when it's time to stop, it's time to stop. Because we want to let when it's time to add our next paint color, we want that area to be fairly dry. I didn't get a chance to ask, do we have any? So I'm in Kentucky. I'm based out of Kentucky, and we have Florida representing. We do have Eva from Canada. I see someone else. Ashley, are you from Canada? I'm basing this off emails. So
we're from New Brunswick, Canada, and we have not 10 of us here tonight.
Awesome. Awesome. Wow. Eva, what part of Canada are you? Is that close to Brunswick?
We're on the East Coast.
We border Maine.
We border with Maine.
Yeah. So I have it a little bit darker. So that's my goal. So that's cool. And I really could just stop swiping, but just like you, I enjoy it. Swipe, swipe, swipe. And as you can see that it's not uniform, and that's my goal. I like it. I like the texture background. So I put my brush down. I'm gonna let it dry a little bit. Oh, okay. I guess Eva, I was talking to her. She wasn't in here.
Let's try this again. My whole
There you
computer
are.
froze. I said I had to reboot everything.
Uh-huh.
Okay, so the bottom is darker than the top. Got it.
Yes, yeah. We're still just black and white, both up, and I kind of wanted that effect where everything they do pictures like that, everything's black and white, but then there's certain things that show color, and that's what I was going for.
I like it. Well, I managed to just finish the top while I was waiting for it to reboot. So
Okay.
I
Well, I
got
was
home a quarter.
some of the
Quarter
ladies
after.
from Brunswick, and I was asking if you were near there.
No. I think in a different time. They're in a different time zone too.
Okay.
I think. You never remember, but no, it's probably almost as far to drive to you than it is to drive to them.
Okay.
It's nice out there.
Where did you say you were from?
Ontario.
Ontario, awesome.
Yeah, Southern Ontario, near Niagara, about an hour from Niagara.
Yeah, I love Niagara Falls. My mom loves Niagara Falls.
Oh, there you go. Well, then next time you come, let me know you're coming and we'll go wine tasting.
Niagara on the lake?
Niagara on the Lake, Beamsville, you name it.
Yeah. My aunt loves wine. She's got a whole bottle to drink tonight.
Cheers. There you go. Mind you, you guys make good wine out there, the fruit wines. Blueberry fruit wine.
All right. So I hope you ladies have put your brushes down, because I want it. So what we're going to do next is not going to affect it a lot, but you can start putting those brushes down. We're going to work on that vase. That's going to kind of anchor, and you're going to decide. So I have mine kind of off to the side so that I could, kind of arch it up. So you can decide if you want, there's, it's an option to like put that vase in the middle, and then just maybe have a couple of stems that go up instead of just one arch. Kind of play with it, see what kind of works best for you. It's entirely up to you.
Yes, I am still swiping, but I'm a little behind the times here.
Right. Well, I mean, I'm getting ready to add the vase, which is still black and white, so it's not
gonna make too much. No.
Right. Whether you're still swiping or not. I mean, whether it's dry or not, basically, I would say. So I'm pretty much going to use black to paint my vase, and that's going to be a square. We're going to be painting a square. And where did I put it? Where am I? I'm gonna divide it up into fours, and then I'm going a fourth of a way in is where I start my vase. I did have, you can see where it starts. Part of it, the majority of the mass of it is below the line. It's basically, maybe I'm sitting on a table, whatever, and then you have a small amount above. So, and it's still optional the way you want to do it, but that's where I'm starting. So
is the top part, the lighter part, 2/3 lighter? Is the top part 2/3?
Right.
Oh,
right.
Okay. 1/3. So I need to make that white go down lower. Okay, thank you.
Right. Yeah, this is about a third. I mean, it doesn't have to be exact, but just to put it out there so that you guys had an understanding where I was. The bottom was about a third and then 2/3 top. And I'm taking my black, and like I said, I'm going to basically paint. I'm not going to say a square. It's going to be more of a triangle because it's a little bit longer. But I start at one end and just drag my brush across. So as you can see, it gets a little bit thinner as it gets to the other side, which is okay because in our example, it's lighter on one side. So you guys can see that I did that. Kind of a, it can be a square if you like, or a bit of a rectangle. You guys see that?
Mhm.
Watching my ink. It's actually, it got really cold. It dropped below freezing and all that good stuff. Maybe a week or so ago, and then it's warmed up and it's been nice ever since. So I'm not ready for it, but I know it's inevitable.
We had freezing rain yesterday,
Oh, wow.
so it got a little slippery. So it's okay. I didn't have to do anything, but then I had everything to do today. But today it was up to almost 50. So it was nice. And the sun finally came out in the afternoon. So that helped a lot too.
That sounds
And it's,
good. 50s.
yeah, and it's going to be kind of nice for the next few days. And then, yeah, then I don't want to be outside again.
Right.
Where are you? Where are you saying that's nice? 50? Where is
In
she?
Ontario, Ontario,
Oh,
Canada.
oh my goodness. Yeah, we had
It's freezing.
80. We had 80 degrees yesterday, didn't we?
Yeah, it was great.
Lovely.
Well, yeah, but I live in the north, it's the way
Honey,
up north.
honey, you're going to have to come down south where we live. It's gorgeous.
No, you need to go where Diane is down to Florida. They
Florida.
don't.
It's a little too humid.
Yeah, I don't know what you're
sometimes, and
talking about with all this weather.
too humid sometimes in Florida. And we were going to go 27th of November, but the Canadian dollar has really tanked. It's 40% more to buy an American dollar. So I
Wow.
canceled our trip for now and said, just can't do it because we would drive down.
I see Rebecca commented there, said hello from Michigan. So she's close to you guys.
Oh, yeah.
Close. Yeah.
So what do
Well,
you mean
depends.
the dollar? Go ahead. So you only get 40 cents on our dollar?
Well, 60.
Yeah.
Basically, I pay $1.40 Canadian to get one American dollar. So yeah, it's about 60 cents,
Oh no.
65.
Okay.
It's bad. Yeah. But your dollar goes a long way up here.
So now I have my square, and I didn't rinse out my brush, but I did dip my brush in white. And so I'm going to start at the opposite end where I had the black to really, actually, it's all a solid black. But on one side, I want to start on that side and bring my white across. Across, not across. So you can see that I did that. And I'm not bringing it all the way across. I just wanted to, you can see now when you do this, it adds a little bit of dimension. It doesn't look like a flat box anymore. So I want to give it some dimension. And that's what we do with this by bringing that one side darker, one side a little bit lighter. And I'm purposely just taking my paintbrush horizontally straight across instead of at different, like before I would paint it. It didn't matter which way my stroke went, but for this, I'm making sure purposely bringing it across, starting at one side and then each time just bringing it across like that. So you can see it already starting to look dimensional. It doesn't look flat. And if it doesn't look like that for you, just step back from your painting and you'll see that it does change it up a little bit. Now, of course, also you can see that I didn't like completely turn the one side white. I still had the black in there, so it's mixed with it, but it makes sure that it's still lighter. Okay. So now we want to, for my arch, I did use my black paint to paint my arch. Okay. Just to, so that it'll give me an anchor to where it is. So I started at the top of my vase and I just arched it around. It doesn't have to be perfect because it's going to be covered, but it just gives you a base to where everything is so you can see where your arch is going to be. Okay. You can bring it down more, you can less, whichever works best for you. This is your painting and you're going to make it your painting. I'm just giving you a template to start with. Okay, so we can start, we can grab our balloons. If you don't have it already inflated, you can start inflating your balloon or your plastic bag or your, like if you inflated a Ziploc bag, put some air in it, or a glove, a surgical glove, where you can blow it up, just kind of inflate it. My paint tray, I just have a paper plate or whatever like that. Make sure you have a paper towel. You may want to, after you apply the balloon, you may want to wipe it. It just depends on what it looks like. Sometimes the paints on the balloon, it starts to get to mix. And if you don't want to mix, you want them separate, you might want to wipe off the balloon after your dip. So I'm going to show you getting close, and you can see where mine's is kind of compartmental. It's like, one side, 1/4 is white, then you have the lighter pink and then the darker pink. I'm going to show you that's because of the way I put it on my tray. I'm going to put it on my tray and show you what I was doing, what my thought process when I did this. All right, so I'm going to show you. I just have my 3 colors on my tray. I'm going to take my balloon and dip it in there. And depending on how wide you want your petal, that's how hard that's how you press down. Of course, when you press down, it spreads out. So how much paint do you want on your balloon? Depending on how hard you press down, how much pressure you press down on it. I'm gonna pull it back up. You guys see that? And now I'm gonna do that all the way around my arch. The first ones, I'm probably gonna be kind of big. I'm gonna make them big, and depending on how much pressure you put on how wide or big that you want those.
Go big or go home.
That's right. Where's Suzanne? All right. So that's how I got it kind of compartmentalized. Now, I still have a lot of paint on my balloon. So I could probably add another one. Now I'm going to change. I'm not going to So how I had it, like it's like the pink and white up top and the pink. I might turn my balloon a little bit just to mix it up a little bit so they're not uniform. You can if you like, no worries. Those are bigger. I'm going to show you if you wanted to make a smaller one, then you don't put as much pressure. So here I'm going to just kind of touch it to the, see that one looks a little bit smaller. Okay. And then again, if you wanted to mix it up, you don't want the colors to be so separated. I just kind of move it around a little bit. And then I'm just gonna dip my brush in the same bud that I just dipped it in. It didn't change much, but it did a little bit. You can see where now my pink, the darker pink mixed. You see I changed it up a little bit. So you have a couple of options to do it that way. Now, if you do not have a balloon and you just want to use your brush, you can definitely just paint the circles there and just use the different shades of pink to do that.
Oh, to get my husband to tie the balloons, I couldn't do it.
Well, I didn't blow the balloon up really big, so that left me a lot of room so that I could tie it up. I just made it, just put a little bit in, not a little bit, but just so.
Yeah, well, I just grabbed the cheap bag of balloons from Dollarama. Okay, so you're using pink, reddish pink, and white.
It's a pink, white, and it's a pink, but I don't. It's a
Slightly
really
different.
Yeah. It says joyful pink, like a rose color pink. So I liked it because I wanted to have, a little bit of contrast.
Mm-hmm. And of course, I don't have a pink. Oh, let's see.
Now, again, if I want to make smaller buds, I don't press down as much. I'm just kissing the canvas with the balloon. That's how I make the smaller ones, just a kiss. If I want to bring some down here, just a kiss. I love it. This is so fun. And then you have art. This is exactly, you guys, I'm abstract artist. My stuff is abstract. So this is like right up my alley. And I'm excited to share an abstract method with you guys.
Mm. La, 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 la. Let me see. I need it. Stupidity doop. Stupidity doop.
Now, because the paint is heavy, it will be a little bit thicker. Okay, says I'm from Florida to Fort Lauderdale. That's Susan Russell. She's from Fort Lauderdale. Says with great results for sure. So the paint is still, it's gonna be kind of, it should, well, mine's is still kind of thick, but that's fine because I'm not going to do anything on top of it. So, if it takes a while to dry, that's fine. It's not going to change my results. It's not going to affect the finishing touches that I put on it. Now, don't get carried away. It's fun. And
Oh my goodness.
yes, is it too late?
No, but I didn't realize that when I was lifting the balloon off the thing, I was spraying myself with white paint and purple paint and every other color paint I have. So I have
That's
to be a
why I
little bit
always
more.
recommend an apron because I don't know how the paint gets everywhere, but it does.
I know. I just wear old shirts that I don't care about.
Mhm.
But considering I got home at 6:15 and then jumped in the shower quick, why it's when I lift the balloon up, I'm getting paint everywhere.
Mhm. So yeah, that it's dangerous. That's fun. And we only did a few of them. And again, that's why I suggested if you want to do another branch, you can do that. If you're having that much fun adding the balloon smash, you can do that. But I did want to show you that I did and made this look like there were a few petals that were kind of falling off. So I'm gonna, and I used a paintbrush to do that. And that's optional as well. I like to, make sure I don't waste too much paint. So I'm just gonna do a few petals that are coming down onto the table. Now, right now I'm just using the lighter pink, but I'll go back and grab the darker pink so that they are not just one color. Probably should have started with white. I'm just kind of now I'm just dotting, just touching my brush in some areas that are kind of basic. I'm just kind of making them a little bit fuller. Now I'm going to add a little bit of white to the ones that I have. But again, I have pink in my brush. So although I'm using the white, it just kind of blends. So my next color, did I mention green? We're going to throw some leaves on there. Add some leaves. And I'm not sure what kind of flower this is, so I'm not sure how the leaves are supposed to look on this type of flower. So
It's abstract.
abstract, exactly. I thought I pulled my green out. If I didn't. Grabbing my green paint. The brush that I'm using, I don't know what size. Like I said, even if I told you, it'd be something different than what you were using. And the it's kind of worn off. These are wooden. I'm in the process of switching over to plastic paintbrushes because the wood, they're great, but when the moisture gets to them, it just
Them up a bit.
right. So now I want to add a few leaves. Definitely like here at the base. Kind of arch it. Preferably use a bigger brush, but I want a few coming out of my base, out of the vase. Okay. And looks like I have a few more. There's no method. You cannot put the leaves on there or just whatever. It's kind of, I'm trying to find balance to see, does that work? Is that balance? Do I need more or less? That's what I'm kind of thinking about when I do that. Okay. That's an extra one I put in. I don't know how I feel about that one. It's all right. That's the balance I talked about. I needed a little more balance. I threw that in there. Okay. So next, I added a little bit of shadow. So you can see I put this shadow down here that's supposed to be the shadow created by art here. I'm going to add a little bit of that's just actually black and white because we still have that a little bit more pale, and we can just use more black and white to throw the shadow in there. So that's a plus for how light you had that bottom. So I'm going to still use the same brush just because it's that's what I'm working with. I'm rinsing out the green paint and put like this, bring a shadow here. It's kind of dark, and throw a little bit of white in it.
No, Ronita, we can't see what you're doing.
Oh, okay. I glued this back together this morning with some E6000. so there you can see that I
Oh,
just add a little bit of black, and then I came back on top with a little bit of white, of course, because I still had the black in my paint. It just kind of blended and just kind of like a little bit of shadow there. Nothing fancy. Now I'm rinsing out that black paint. Rebecca, I'm glad you like it. And that's what I said. It's fun. It's different. That's like, yes, you can use a paintbrush to do it, but it's so much fun with that balloon smash. I've actually done it. I have a couple of paintings where that's all it was is I painted the whole background, and there it's hanging on my wall, and I did different things. I would put the paint on the canvas and smash it. And sometimes I put it on the tray and smash it, and just really fun results. It was different. And then my goal was to try it when you smash it to where it was a perfect round circle. Didn't happen, but it was fun trying.
A lot of frustrations out that way too, don't you?
So now I'm hoping that I'm just gonna put my leaves. I'm gonna add a little bit of dimension to my leaves. I'm gonna grab a little bit of white paint and kind of put it, like I say, if the light was coming this way, then it would hit the leaves kind of at the top. So I'm gonna add a little bit of white to the tops like that. And just gives it a little bit of dimension. And I mean, again, 1 minute I'm abstract and 1 minute I'm dimensional. So, but anyway, either way, I like both. I like to mix it up. See what I do with my white paint. And I'm going to do that to each of the leaves.
You have a minute. Could you lift it up a bit so I can see your shadow again? Okay, thank you. Perfect.
All right, ladies, and that's my painting.
Awesome as always.
All right, how's it looking, ladies?
Not bad.
I missed when you did the little drops. Did you just do pink and then put the darker pink on the side later?
Yeah, I used my paintbrush and I added looks like I added the lighter pink and then dip my brush in my darker pink and put it more towards the bottom off to the side. So it looks, again, dimensional. It doesn't look dimensional, but that was what I was going for.
Oh, it does. And the bottom part is gorgeous what you've done with the shading.
Yeah, so if you added that white, it'll give you the same effect.
Well, with the dark on the table, or I love that.
Shadow, yeah.
Yeah, the shadow. You just express yourself. So